The harmonization of opposites within oneself is the beginning of true wisdom. Al-Farabi. Imagine for a moment that you are two people living in one body. The rational philosopher who seeks truth through reason, and the passionate soul who yearns for meaning through emotion. Which one is the real you? We contain multitudes of contradictions. The scholar who doubts everything yet seeks certainty. The lover who craves connection yet fears vulnerability. The citizen who desires both freedom and belonging. These paradoxes tear us apart. What if these inner contradictions are not flaws to overcome, but the very essence of what makes us human? What if the tension between opposing forces within us is necessary for wisdom? The great philosopher Al-Farabi discovered something profound. Our inner contradictions are not our weakness, but potentially our greatest strength. In 10th century Baghdad, amidst a melting pot of ideas, Al-Farabi, known as the second teacher after Aristotle, developed a revolutionary understanding of human nature that still challenges us today. The perfect human being is one who has theoretical virtue through which he is able to discover what is happiness, wrote Al-Farabi. But this discovery requires embracing both intellect and emotion, not choosing between them. Modern neuroscience confirms what Al-Farabi intuited centuries ago. Our brains are literally divided. The rational, analytical left hemisphere and the intuitive, holistic right hemisphere constantly pull us in different directions. This internal division manifests in our everyday struggles. We crave both freedom and security. We seek both change and stability. We want both solitude and connection. Each pole feels like it negates the other, creating perpetual dissatisfaction. Society compounds this tension by demanding we choose sides, be logical or emotional, be independent or dependent, be ambitious or content. This forced choice creates the illusion that we must resolve our contradictions. Al-Farabi recognized this trap a millennium ago. He saw that the virtuous person is not one who eliminates contradictions, but one who harmonizes them into a unified whole. As a renowned musician and music theorist, Al-Farabi used the metaphor of musical harmony, different notes creating beauty not through sameness, but through their very differences. The tension between notes creates the melody that moves us. The virtuous city is like a perfect and healthy body, Al-Farabi wrote, all of whose limbs cooperate to make the life of the animal perfect. Similarly, our contradictory aspects must cooperate rather than compete for us to achieve wholeness. But how do we achieve this harmony? The first step is radical acceptance. Your contradictions are not flaws. They are the complexity that makes you human, capable of depth and nuance. Consider your deepest fear alongside your greatest courage, your most selfish impulse alongside your most selfless act, your darkest thought alongside your brightest hope. These are not separate selves, but facets of your whole being. Al-Farabi proposed that the soul has multiple faculties, rational, appetitive, and imaginative, that must be balanced rather than having one dominate the others. This balance requires constant adjustment, not a fixed formula. Sometimes reason must lead, other times emotion. Sometimes we must stand firm in our individuality, other times dissolve into community. Happiness is achieved through embracing the middle path, taught Al-Farabi, not by eliminating extremes, but by allowing them to inform each other. The courageous person feels fear, but is not ruled by it. Think of your contradictions as opposing pieces on a chessboard. They create tension, yes, but also possibility. The game's beauty emerges not from removing pieces, but from their complex interaction. Without opposition, there is no game. Here lies the radical shift in perspective. What if your inner conflicts are not obstacles to overcome, but the very source of your potential wisdom? What if harmony comes not from resolving contradictions, but from dancing with them? Al-Farabi's philosophy offers us a path. Instead of trying to eliminate parts of yourselves, weave your contradictions into a tapestry where each thread, however contrasting, contributes to the whole. This integration requires both intellectual understanding and emotional acceptance. You must see the pattern that connects your seemingly disparate parts, while feeling compassion for the internal struggles this creates. When faced with opposing desires or values, ask not which one is right, but what wisdom emerges from holding both simultaneously. The answer often transcends the original contradiction. Consider those you admire most. Are they not complex beings who contain multitudes? The leader who is both firm and compassionate, the artist who is both disciplined and spontaneous, the thinker who is both skeptical and believing. The seeker of truth must navigate between certainty and doubt, Al-Farabi taught. Too much certainty breeds dogmatism. Too much doubt leads to paralysis. The wise person cultivates both, knowing when each is needed. This wisdom manifests in practical ways. The ability to be fully present yet future-oriented, to love others deeply while maintaining healthy boundaries, to pursue excellence without being crushed by perfectionism. The breakthrough comes when you stop trying to resolve the irresolvable and instead learn to hold paradox with grace. Your analytical mind and your emotional heart are not enemies, but essential partners in understanding reality. Al-Farabi embodied this integration as both a rigorous logician and a mystical thinker, a political philosopher and a musician. He showed that these were not separate pursuits, but facets of a unified search for truth. The most profound truth is that wisdom comes not from resolving contradictions, but from transcending them, seeing that apparent opposites are often complementary aspects of a larger whole that our limited minds struggle to grasp. True harmony, wrote Al-Farabi in his musical treatise, emerges not from uniformity, but from diversity properly arranged. Your contradictions, when properly arranged, create not chaos, but a symphony. This understanding liberates you from the exhausting effort to be consistent in all things. You can be both ambitious and content, both logical and intuitive, both independent and connected, each in its proper time and context. Al-Farabi's vision of the virtuous city was one where diverse elements worked in harmony rather than uniformity. Similarly, the virtuous soul integrates diverse aspects rather than allowing one to dominate or eliminate others. The path forward is paradoxical. To become more unified, embrace your multiplicity. To find peace, welcome tension. To discover certainty, honor doubt. These are not contradictions to resolve, but polarities to navigate. The perfect state is one in which every person is able to develop their unique potential while contributing to the whole, taught Al-Farabi. Similarly, the perfect self allows each aspect to develop fully while serving the integrated being. Your contradictions are not flaws to be hidden, but defining features to be highlighted. Like the Japanese art of kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold, the places where you seem broken may become your most beautiful aspects. The Sufi tradition that followed Al-Farabi embraced this wisdom in the whirling dervish dance, finding stillness in motion, unity in spinning, transcendence in the physical. The dancer embodies contradiction resolved through movement. The truly happy person, Al-Farabi concluded, is one who has integrated the intellectual virtues with the moral virtues. Not either or, but both and. Not a compromise between extremes, but a transcendence of them. Look up at the night sky. Science sees mathematical patterns of celestial mechanics. Poetry sees the beauty of infinite mystery. Both are true simultaneously. The universe itself embodies the harmony of apparent contradictions. The final revelation is this: your contradictions are not a problem to solve, but a mystery to live. The tension between opposing forces within you creates the very energy that makes growth, creativity, and wisdom possible. Your heart itself embodies this truth, simultaneously a mechanical pump operating with mathematical precision and the symbolic seat of your deepest emotions. It beats in the space between science and poetry. The purpose of philosophy, Al-Farabi wrote near the end of his life, is not to choose between opposing views, but to discover the higher truth that encompasses them all. This is not just philosophy, it's the art of being fully human. To embrace your inner contradictions, the rational and the emotional, the spiritual and the material, the individual and the communal, not as enemies to reconcile, but as essential partners in the dance of becoming your most complete self. In the words of Al-Farabi, happiness is found not in resolving the mysteries of existence, but in dancing gracefully with them. Your contradictions are not your weakness, they're your path to wisdom.